on top of a large paint pot. It's all a bit precarious because otherwise I can't get me and my, anyway, because a little bit of dirt never hurt anyone, did it? In fact, it's a controllable urge to walk away and leave it, but I know if I do that, there'll just be a kitchen covered in vegetable grams, salt up. This is a big recipe. Okay, so the dopamine has already gone. Should be later ripening, if you know what I mean. I think maybe some of those were, I don't really know. Anyway. Hello everyone, how are you all? It is Wednesday. Yeah, I think it's Wednesday. You know how I am with days and times and things like that. It's a nightmare, but it is Wednesday. Yeah. Anyway, today I'm going to try and make some chutney because I've got loads and loads of green tomatoes. I've also got quite a lot of apples, although they're really small, so they're going to be a bit fiddly to chop up because our orchard is only 3 years old, but it produced quite a lot of apples, but some of them are a bit sour because I should have left them on a bit longer. I think some of them were late, should be later ripening, if you know what I mean. I think maybe some of those were, I don't really know. I've got a heap of apples, I've got a heap of green tomatoes, so I just got to wash the tomatoes and then I'm going to start trying to make this green tomato and apple chutney. I've made chutneys before, but I've done it in the big old, you know, jamming pan and stuff like that. But I'm actually going to do this in the slow cooker, simply because I think it'll be quite easy to just chuck it in and then just put the slow cooker on for like 6 hours or 8 hours or whatever it is. I'm just sort of trying to make up a recipe because I've looked up lots of different recipes and they're all slightly different. So I'll just come up with something. I'm just going to try and come up with something that sort of takes a bit from all those recipes. Something I do a lot of, especially when I don't have all the ingredients, and then I will just look at various recipes, pick out bits I have got and make one up, and it usually works out okay. Yeah, so let's get to it. I'm going to wash the tomatoes first. So this is my apple pile, and as you can see, that's not an apple, that's a lime. That's a lime. Quite a few of them are really small, you know, they're diddy little ones, so they're going to be a pain for, but I'm not going to use them all because I'm not sure how many I need. Probably only need about 1 kilo of them, and there's definitely more than 1 kilo. The recipe I'm looking at is for 1 kilo of green tomatoes, so we get the red ones out. But it's, yeah, I think there's at least, I can't even lift it, it's at least 3 or 4 kilos in there. So I think I'm just going to probably double up on the recipe. Actually, those I hang on to, might eat those. Yeah, so there's quite a lot of green ones. Some of them have gone over and gone red. Oh, this one's gone all mushy. Yeah, he's kind of exploding now, but anyway, you get the gist of it. Oh, there's quite a lot of red ones in there actually. Since I picked them, they've ripened a bit. So maybe there's not 3 kilos now because I've probably taken a fair bit out. Okay, anyway, that's boring. I'm just gonna wash them because they're all muddy and murky where I just picked them out of the garden and off the bed. So how are you all getting on with your gardens? Have you still got loads of things growing in there? I bet you have, because I was really not very good at planting this year. And so, oof, that one's exploded. And so I haven't really got anything left growing in there anymore, which is a bit sad. Did anyone give me any tips on what I can plant this time of year? Probably nothing, isn't it? I usually have loads of kale and, oh, I don't know. Never mind. I loved kale throughout the winter. You can put it in your soups and just, you know, sear it, and oh, I love it. I love kale. And I didn't plant any, and I had a nightmare with spinach because that didn't happen. I'm not going to fuss too much over the tomatoes because a little bit of dirt never hurt anyone, did it? In fact, it's probably good. It's good for our immune system. So they are, I mean, they're clean enough. They're certainly clean enough. I would eat them like that, but I'm not really that fussed about a bit of dirt. Right, get my scales out. Everything gets a bit dusty in here. Tomatoes. So we want, what did I say? I want to double it up. So 2 kilos. Get the bigger ones because otherwise it's all that extra chopping, isn't it? Lazy cook here. Try and get all the bigger ones because otherwise it's extra chopping. Nearly there, nearly there. Gosh, there's not a lot, is it, actually? So we're just over 2 kilos there. Yeah, that'll be just the job, I think. Right, so what we're going to do with them is pop them in here a minute. Oh gosh, I've still got a whole colander full. Right, so then I need 1 kilo of onions, which is quite a lot of onion, isn't it? Let me get some more onions. That's just, so 3, so those 3 onions is just over 1 kilo. So that's the onions. I've got you propped up on a paint pot on my gimbal, which is a tripod, and then on top of a large paint pot. It's all a bit precarious because otherwise I can't get me and mine. Yeah, anyway, I know. Well, as you probably just saw, as I said how precariously propped up my gimbal was, it fell and crashed. I'm just so lucky my iPhone didn't smash, because when it's got the magnet on the back to put it on the Insta360, it doesn't have its case on it. So yeah, that was a close call anyway. So I've turned you around. I'm going to film from this side. It's still on a paint pot, but there's a board on top of the paint pot. So let's see what happens. Kilo of apples. I'm just going to weigh them, you know, before they're cut and peeled, really, and just guesstimate. Right, so that's 1 kilo. So if I add an extra couple just to account for the cores and things coming out, I've had to write it down, written down what I needed there. Right, so 1 kilo of apples. Where am I going to put the apples now? Okay, I'm just going to put it all in there. It's all going in this big colander at the moment, so I know what I've got. I've got all my ingredients. So the only other things I've got to weigh out is sultanas and brown sugar. Why don't I just come up when I need to speak to you? Oh, whoa, whoa. So I just need to weigh out sultanas, which is 400 grams of sultana. This is a big recipe. Yeah. So do 400 grams of sultanas. I'm about to chop the sultanas up, or do you leave the sultanas whole? Not sure. Right, let's weigh these out, and then it's 800 grams of brown sugar after that. That's a lot of sultanas. Heck of a lot of sultanas. Put sultanas in there. Then I'm running out of work surface, and I've just had this, just put this one in. Never have too many work surfaces, can you? And now 800 grams of brown sugar. Well, this bag is only 500 grams, so I might have to use some of my demerara. So you know that's 500. Ooh. It's a lot of sugar, isn't it? 100. Not quite. Not quite. That's enough, Bentley. Dogs, they always want to interrupt my video. If it's not barking, which actually, to be fair, it's off. I usually edit out any barking. Then it's their little tapping feet on this wooden floor, because this is a raw OSB floor, because this is just a container building with a tin roof. So it's really loud, really annoying. So you might hear tapping in the background quite a bit, and that's Bentley's claws, mostly Bentley, because Twink doesn't often get out of bed. Anyway, I've got just under 800 grams of sugar, so that's going to have to do. So that can stay in there, and I can get rid of that. And yeah, I'm going to put it all in the slow cooker. So I suppose I better start chopping. So I think I'll just start with chopping my onions. You're all going to say, why are you chopping your onions like that, aren't you? I just know it. Everybody has a different way of chopping onions. These pink onions are so strong. Right, and my knife is blunt. Wow, but they're very, very strong. How do you get your onion skins off? There's got to be an easy way, hasn't there, to get them off? So annoying. Gosh, these onions are so strong. I'm literally, oh, really, oh, I need some sharp knives. These are crappy knives. I have better knives when I have my house, but this is just a waste of time. Gosh, these onions are so strong. Oh, my eyes. Oh. I'm not going to be too fussy about the size of the bit. It's going everywhere. It's going all over the floor, because I don't mind bits that are bigger, chunkier bits. Anyway, I am glad to say, oh my Lord, I'm very glad to say that the onions are done. Oh my, whew. Not really sure best way to chop these and how small I actually want them, or how small they've got to be. I'm not sure. I suppose really it's personal choice, isn't it, about how chunky you want your chutney to be. I'm still struggling from cutting the onions. This knife is a complete and utter waste of time, really. I should go and get one of my catering knives, but of course you know I won't, because I won't allow myself to stop and do that. But it's going to take me all day to chop these tomatoes. Okay, so the dopamine has already gone. The thrill of making the chutney, not interested now, and I've got to chop all, because I've got bored. I've got really, really bored with chopping tomatoes and chopping onions. And although you'll see this in a few seconds, it will have taken me absolute ages. So now I have to try and muster up the interest. I'll be fine once I get everything in the pot, because I'll stir it and it will get me excited again. But right now, dopamine's gone. Yeah, very uninterested in continuing with what I'm doing, which is a really, really common trait. There will be others out there who will know exactly what I'm talking about. Right, carry on chopping. Still bored. Oh, I got to do the apples, yeah. Yeah, great fun. It will be worth it and it would be lovely. But right now I'd like to go and do something else. I'd really like to go and do something else. This happens sometimes when I get the uncontrollable urge to walk away and leave it. But I know if I do that, there'll just be a kitchen covered in vegetables and it won't get finished and I'll feel like a complete and utter failure for not doing it. And beat myself up and say, what the hell's the matter with you, Deb? Why can't you just bloody do it? Anyway, I have about 20 more tomatoes to chop, and I'll show you the pot. I'm getting there. My tip to you would be, number one, don't double up on the recipe, because then you obviously you've got half of the amount to chop. And number two, get a mate round. Have a chutney making day, and then the pair of you can share all the chopping, because it's the most tedious thing ever. Last of the tomatoes are going in the pot, and then I can wipe down the board, and then I start with the apples. Yay, what fun. So I'm just having to chop them, cut the cores out basically, because I don't have an apple corer in this kitchen. I do have one somewhere, but since I have 3 kitchens and a lot of stuff still in storage from when we moved out of our house a few years ago, I have no idea where it would be. So it'd probably be better. Sorry, that's probably an awful noise, isn't it? So it'd probably be better if I just went out and bought another apple corer. Right, I'm going to get these in the pot. They're browning. I've actually only got to walk out the door over there and walk maybe 100 yards to the building with the other kitchen in that has a nice sharp knife in it. Right, that's the last of the chopping. Thank goodness for that. That's it. No more chopping. That's literally taken me about an hour. Right, so in here I've got all the onions, all the green tomatoes, all the apple. You can see that very well. This really bad light. I have to keep moving you around because of the light, or the lack of light, I should say. Yeah, that's better. Right, so in here is the 2 kilos of green tomatoes. Did I weigh out 2 kilos? Do you know what? I don't know if I did. I'm going to have to go back and check that I actually did. So I've got the 2 kilos of green tomatoes, 1 kilo of onion, and 1 kilo of apples in there. So now I'm going to add all those sultanas, almost a full bag of sultanas. This is actually really quite a big pot. Although, you know, when it cooks down, it's not going to make a huge amount of it. It's the thing with jams and chutneys and things, isn't it? You start out with these massive pans full of ingredients and end up with very little. Right, okay, so we've got all that sugar. That is, it's supposed to be 800 grams of sugar. This is a really bendy spoon. Let's just get those last dregs out. I'm going to use a metal spoon, but I just don't want to scratch the pot because it is a non-stick. Gosh, wow, it's a lot. Looks lovely. You see, now I'm excited again because the tedious chopping made me just want to run away, and this now looks lovely. Right, so what's next? Sugar. I was a little bit short on the sugar, so maybe I've got a little bit more. Add a bit more sugar. Okay, so now it's just the vinegar and the spices, I think, and we're away. Woohoo! Really exciting. Spices, what have we got? Let's get a teaspoon. So we want 4 teaspoons of mustard seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 teaspoons of coriander seeds. 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't smell of much. I think they're a bit out of date, but never mind. That's all I've got. 2 teaspoons of chili flakes. Okay. Whoa! Wow. Okay. That was more than 2. That was definitely more than 2 teaspoons of that. 4 teaspoons of salt. So I'm just going to use some sea salt. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, some of that's got a bit of dried garlic in it. Oh, it'll be fine. Done the chili flakes. I just want some black peppercorns. I don't have any, but I do. Well, I do in here, but I can't get the lid off, so I might just have to just do that. A lot of that. Get all that mixed in. So it reminds me of. It reminds me of making mincemeat. I mean, obviously you're not going to have the mustard seeds and all that in there, but doesn't it look a bit like when you make mincemeat? And I mean, you know, fruit mincemeat for like mince pies. Just reminds me of that. Of course, you wouldn't want onions and all that in there. Right, so now it is just the apple cider vinegar. Oh, and some ginger, fresh ginger. So apple cider vinegar is 800 mils. It's quite a lot. So I've got some organic apple cider vinegar, the good stuff. I don't have enough. So actually it's the whole bottle. Gosh, that's a lot. Okay, so the whole bottle of apple cider vinegar and then some. So I'm going to then need some, I just have to put some malt vinegar in because I don't have any more. Seems like such a lot. Okay, I thought you only had to put a little bit in. Okay. I'm going to double check. I'm going to double check that. That seems like an awful lot of vinegar. So I just checked the recipe and it is 800 mils. So I only had 500 mils of apple cider vinegar. So I'm going to have to use some malt vinegar for the other 300 mils. But it looks like a lot of liquid to me. But hey ho. That's what it says, and that's what it says. Yeah, so I mean, some recipes say malt vinegar, some say cider vinegar, some say apple cider vinegar, some say red wine vinegar. So basically, I don't think it's going to matter. Whew. There we are. Lovely, jubbly. Okay, so I only had 10 grams of fresh ginger left, so I just into the freezer and got some chopped ginger out and made up the rest with the frozen chopped ginger. So that is something. There's a really good tip is to keep things like frozen spinach blocks, frozen garlic, frozen chopped ginger, bits and pieces like that. The thing I use the most is frozen sliced peppers. Big bags of those sometimes can just bulk out a recipe. And you know, if you run out of fresh ingredients, because I don't go out much to get supplies, so when I run out of fresh stuff, I will bung some frozen stuff in. Look at that. I think that looks really, really good. It smells good, actually. It doesn't smell, it smells very vinegary, obviously, because it's predominantly vinegar. But, yeah, let's get the lid on it. Get rid of all this mess now. So I've got the lid on. So the lid's on, and I think I'm going to do it on low. Yeah, so the low is 6 hours. So I'll let you know after 6 hours what it looks like and if I think it's ready or not. Very exciting. You know how I love to watch things grow and cook. Talking of growing, the second flush of lion's mane has started already. So can you see in there? It's fruiting again already. So that second flush is on its way. Brilliant. So my next issue is finding enough jars. I've got 5 here that I just got out of the recycling. I've washed them. I need to sterilise them. But that's not going to be enough for all that. So, because these are quite small, look, like diddy ones. So now I need to go back in the recycling, see if I can find another jar or 2. At worst, I can always put it in a kilner jar, like one of those up there, can't I? But I don't really want a huge jar of chutney because I was hoping to give some away, and people don't want a massive jar, do they? But I don't think it's going to make that much anyway. Yeah, let's find another couple of jars. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. Maybe another 1 or 2 should do it. So I just want to show you what the chutney is looking like. This is after 6 hours. So it's cooking down nicely. Smells amazing. But I'm actually going to do it for at least another 6 hours, I think. I turned it back on again and I left it on all night, and it's nice, it's really nicely cooked, but it's a little bit runny. So I think the mistake I've made is perhaps I should have left the lid off for the second cooking, the second 6 hour stint. But now I'm just gonna leave the lid off, leave it on high and let it just reduce a bit, because I think obviously with the lid on it didn't reduce enough to get that nice thick consistency. I mean, it's still nice, it tastes great. I'd like to try some cool actually on a bit of cheese. But yeah, so I think my advice would be do the first stint with the lid on and then the second stint with the lid off and maybe on high. Anyway, that's that's where I'm at the moment. Hello everyone, I forgot in my excitement to show you the chutney being put in the jars. So I've already done these. So I've just put the lid on, just on, and then turn them upside down and then leave them there till tomorrow, and then I'll turn them back up the right way and hopefully the lids will have sealed. So anyway, look at it, it's black gorgeousness, very rich, still a bit runny for my liking, but yeah, it's okay. Wipe the dribbly bits off the sides because I am making a right mess, as you can see. Luckily it's easy to clean up, so just till it's just on, tip it upside down and then wait till tomorrow. Yeah, so there's 6 jars there, which is all I could muster, and I've still got probably 2 jars worth, so I'm going to have to put that bit in a kilner, I think. Hello everyone, I forgot in my excitement to show you the chutney being put in the jars. So I've already done these. So I've just put the lid on, just on, and then turn them upside down and then leave them there till tomorrow, and then I'll turn them back up the right way and hopefully the lids will have sealed. So anyway, look at it, it's black gorgeousness, very rich, still a bit runny for my liking, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Just got to try and wipe. Oops. It's okay. Wipe the dribbly bits off the sides because I am making a right mess, as you can see. Luckily it's easy to clean up, so just till it's just on, tip it upside down and then wait till tomorrow. Yeah, so there's 6 jars there, which is all I could muster, and I've still got probably 2 jars worth, so I'm going to have to put that bit in a kilner, I think. So I ended up with 8 jars. This one didn't seal, unfortunately, so we'll just eat that one. And there's a little bit spare in there. So I forgot to show you, but I've just had a crumpet with some Stilton and some of the chutney on the top. And it was really, really nice, really nice. Sorry about the kids' TV behind, but I've got Zion today. I suppose what I've learnt from this is probably to not do it in the slow cooker, or if I do it in the slow cooker, to leave the lid off slightly, maybe. And also I think I'd probably put less vinegar in it. I don't think I needed all that vinegar, which meant there was a lot of liquid to get rid of. But overall, I'm really pleased with it. I think next time I would prefer it a little firmer, so therefore to cook it less. So probably will do it in my jamming pan. But anyway, yeah, have a go. I'll put the recipe down below. I'll put the normal recipe down below because obviously I doubled up. I've still got so many tomatoes and apples left, so I'm going to have to make another batch and then just give it all away. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful or interesting. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it was even slightly interesting to see it done in the slow cooker, and maybe you've got some advice for me about doing chutney in the slow cooker. Anyway, I'm going to go and I'll see you very, very soon. Thanks ever so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate all of you and all your comments. Thank you so, so, so much. And I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye for now.